Hi guys, so today we're working on the slope-intercept form foldable. We're actually going to take notes over here real quick. It's a slope-intercept form. Y is equal to mx plus b. If we look at this m right over here, well, the m represents our slope in this equation, our slope. And then the b represents our y-intercept. And again, our y-intercept is on a graph. If we have a graph of this line right over here, where the graph meets our y-axis right over here, this point is called our y-intercept. That's our y-intercept. Okay, so that is why this is called a slope-intercept form. And the x and y just represent a point on the line, x comma y. So that can be any point on the line. And in order to represent an equation of a line, we have to have our slope and our y-intercept. And if we have those two things, we can graph any line or find any point on the graph as long as you have one of the x or the y value. Or you can pick any of the x or the y to find and replace or substitute them into the equation to get the other. Okay, so identify the slope and the y-intercept in each of the graphs below. Compare it to the equation of the line. What do you notice? The graph below represents the linear equation y is equal to 3/5 x minus 2. So this graph over here, it says, represents 3/5 x minus 2. So if we look at this graph, we have a point right over here that's on the y-axis. Again, remember, that's called our y-intercept, right? And where does it actually fall on the y-axis? If we look, it falls 1 and 2 units below our origin, right? 2 units below our origin. And if we're going below or down from the origin, would that be a positive movement or a negative movement? That would be a negative movement, right? So we have this point right here, which falls at -2. And then we have another point right over here that falls exactly at the intersection of this x and y line right over here, right? So if we want to find our slope, what we have to do is we have to pick 2 points that fall exactly at an intersection of an x and a y line, like these two fall. If you look, this point right here, it falls on this line, but there's no intersection of a cross line. So this one right here, it looks like it's almost at this intersection, but it's not. It's just a little off. So make sure when you're finding points that you're exactly at the intersection. Even this one, it looks like it's almost at this intersection, but it's not. It's just a little below it. So these 2 points fall exactly on our intersection. So to go from this point to this point, we have to find our m, which is our rise over run, right? We have to go rise over run. Well, how far do we go? We go 1, 2, and 3. Our rise is 3 up. And any movement going upwards is a positive movement. So our rise is a +3. It's a positive sign. And then our run is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to the right. And any movement, again, towards the right is, again, positive. So it's a +3 over +5. Our m, or our rise slope, is 3 over 5. And our b, or our y-intercept, is -2. So our slope is 3 over 5, and our y-intercept is -2. Well, if we go back to that equation, right, we have y is equal to 3/5 x minus 2. You'll notice that your slope is this number right over here, and your y-intercept is this number over here. Right? So let's see if that still stands true over here. We have the graph below that represents the equation, linear equation y is equal to -1/2 x plus 3. So again, we have 2 points from here to here, right? But let's find our y-intercept real quick. Our y-intercept is, well, 1, 2, and 3 units above the origin. Again, above. So that's going to be a positive number. So our b, or y-intercept, is a positive 3. And then our slope is going to be, again, rise over run. So our rise is 1, 2, and 3. Going up is positive 3. And going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 units to the left, well, any movement towards the left is going to be negative, so over -6. Positive 3 over -6. That's what we just found as our slope. Well, hold on. If we look at this equation, we have -1 over 3, or 2, right? So if we have 3 over -6, how is that the same as -1 over 2? Well, if you were to divide both your numerator by 3 and your denominator by 3, that would reduce down to -1 over 2, right? So even though going from this point to this point, we got 3 over -6, it's the same thing when you reduce it to -1 over 2. And then our y-intercept is 3. Well, that matches our y-intercept 3. If you look at this page real quick, this bracket right here, it not only includes the number or the letter b, it also includes the sign, which means if you have a negative in this spot right here, it's going to be below our origin. And if you have a positive right here, it's going to be above the origin. And then the numbers are just how many units you go above the origin or below the origin. Okay? So if we look at example 1 and 2 right over here, we have to find our slope and our y-intercept, so let's do that. Going from this point to this point, we're going to go up 1 and 2 units, so our slope, our rise, is positive 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 units to the right. So again, that's a positive 8. However, I can reduce this to get 1 over 4. So my slope is 1 over 4, and my y-intercept is just where my line crosses the y-axis, or my graph crosses the y-axis. So this point right here where both of them meet is my y-intercept. And that happens to be 1, 2, and 3 units below the origin, so that's -3. Slope-intercept form. So now that we have our slope, our slope m and our y-intercept b, we can use y is equal to mx plus b to plug in these two values to get our equation for our line. So y is equal to m, which is 1/4, x plus b, which is -3, plus b, plus -3, sorry. And let me rewrite that a little better. Plus -3. The other way to write this, the preferred way to write this rather, is actually y is equal to 1/4 x minus 3, because when you have a plus and a minus next to each other, they become a negative. Combine to give you a negative. Okay, number 2, we have slope. Again, we have to go from this point to this point, right? Going from here, let's do, actually we can go down. It doesn't matter. Going up and over or going down and over, it's going to get you the same exact answer. Let's look. We go 1, 2, and 3 units down. So going down gets you a negative 3 over 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's my slope. If we had gone from here to here, we would have gone down 6 and over 8, where we would have had to just reduce it down to negative 3 over 4. So if you pick 2 points that are right next to each other, you don't have to reduce in the end. Y-intercept, again, that's this point where my graph crosses the y-axis, so that's 1 unit above, so that's a positive 1. So y is equal to negative 3 over 4x plus 1. Go ahead and do the other two on your own, and good luck.